Hey, have you ever wasted money on marketing campaigns that just didn't work despite all the promises of the marketing agency or the guru du jour to make the thing go viral? Well, guess what? You're not alone. So, joining me on today's episode of Top Dog Tips is a strategic digital marketer, Dave Taylor from Infern Marketing, who's going to share his tips and insights into how you can choose the right agency for your business. Hey, Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Greg. Nice to be here.
Hey, so Dave, in today's attention deficit starved digital world, marketing has become increasingly complicated, and there's no shortage of agencies or pop-up gurus that are, coming with you and helping you part ways with your hard-earned money to come up with promises of making your latest campaign go viral. So, Dave, you've been in the industry for quite some time. You've got a well-established agency. You've put through the rigors. You've seen a lot. So, typically, what are some of the typical issues that clients may have when they're trying to choose what marketing agency to work with?
Honestly, Greg, I think the number one thing it comes down to is tracking and actually proving the results. When people run ad campaigns, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with how these things perform. So that's without a doubt number one. A lot of agencies outsource and they're not clear with who they're outsourcing to or where the work is being performed. And I think business owners are having trouble getting answers when they're trying to figure out what's going on with their campaigns. And then truly just setting goals and managing expectations. I think it's difficult for a business owner to understand what they're getting into. There's a lot of promises that are made, or people use industry benchmarks to say, what are we going to expect from this campaign? And a lot of it's just fluff. Every industry is different, every business is different, and I think marketers really just need to be honest to help people understand what to expect when they run a campaign.
Yeah, great advice. Track your metrics. Track the right metrics. Make sure that number one, you can track them, and number two, are the right metrics they're tracking. The next one is understand who you're working with. Is it in-house? Is it outsourced? Again, it doesn't matter as long as you know. And that only gets important with when something goes sideways and you need a line of communications right now. And then, of course, managing expectations. I want to be viral. I want a million hits. Is maybe the wrong expectation. But if that's the expectation, you got to understand what that is and communicate. So, what kind of the top three factors I need to consider before hiring a market agency?
I think you just need to find someone that can clearly understand the goals and that actually sets goals. One thing that a lot of our agencies don't do very well is establish what a goal or a conversion looks like for a business, and using Google Analytics to actually track that. So in your Google Analytics account, it's very easy to set up goals based on button clicks on site and conversion points on site and track revenue. And a lot of these goals are set based on page views or new users or time on site. So I think it's really just understanding, how the agency is going to set those goals and prove a result once you run a campaign with them. I think it's also really important to understand how they're going to establish the budget, whether it's a specific platform that they partner with or that they typically tend to use, or do they have access to multiple platforms? And then how are they going to recommend the best use of budget? Are they going to use, how many users are you going to target? What geography are you going to target? What is your competition doing? What are those benchmarks? And then how do you establish a presence for a client? And then I think it's just also understanding their communication. What do you expect in terms of reporting? What does their onboarding look like? How can they help you just understand how the campaign's going to roll out? And then if there's any challenges in setup or with tracking, are they going to be clear about that? Or are you going to be spending money before you really understand if there's clarity? I think those are really important things to understand when working with anybody.
What are some of the top challenges that your clients that are coming to you with today when it comes to marketing?
Well, I think you said part of it. It's easy to get traffic, but it's really difficult to get quality traffic and quality leads. You can spend money all day long in advertising, and you can get people to come to your website, but whether or not those are the right people is really important to establish. Specifically with Google and Facebook, there's different ways to set up campaigns based on awareness or based on a conversion tactic, and I don't think business owners understand that. So it's really easy to spend money without really getting the right type of customer to your website. It's really easy to spend money without budgeting properly if you're not understanding what your market share is, or if you're not understanding what your competition is doing. And these are two things that are really easy to see once you get into a Google ad campaign and start establishing some budget. So understanding how these pay-per-click campaigns are built, or really how the system operates or the algorithms operate to help you understand your market share. Business owners are flying, I think, really blind when it comes to, what is my budget getting me? Am I owning 10% of the marketplace, or 20% or 50%? So I think it's really important for business owners to understand that. And I don't think they're getting that information now. And I think it's just, what type of content is going to get people out of their seat. I think, again, this is something that business owners don't know. And it's really difficult because they're not marketers themselves, or they're not, on TikTok, or they're not on YouTube, or, they see other businesses on Facebook, or they see other businesses writing blogs or shooting videos, and they don't know how to do it themselves. And a lot of the times it can be expensive to create content. So I think just establishing what does that look like before you get into a campaign, and do you have the budget to establish a good system of generating content? Because there's lots of ways to run efficient ad campaigns without a high level of content, but they have a different tactic than businesses that really need to create awareness of their product, which is really important to establish that stream of content.
Again, it all comes back to what are you trying to accomplish here? The thing you said about, people are, there's the FOMO, the fear of missing out. And when you're looking at what your competitors are doing and they're running ads, what you got to remember is, they may be flying by the seat of their pants too. So it's a little bit of the blind leading the blind.
Big time. Yeah, big time. It's really easy to get wrapped up to what other people are doing. But I think it's also really important just to notice, like, what are customers seeing in the marketplace, because they're hearing all the messages. We can get inundated with 16,000 marketing messages a day, and some of them are going to be relevant to us and some of them aren't. And it's really important, I think, just to understand, like, in your industry, what are customers seeing, and how do you put yourself in that same place?
Okay, so what I'm hearing is there's no one size fits all blanket statement. If you build it, they will come type of scenario. You really got to dig down and work with an agency that understands all these metrics, is what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Okay. So Dave, you've got a respectable list of clients and businesses that trust you, know you, like you, and work with you. So what are kind of the top 3 tips that you go and have for your business clients when it comes to marketing?
I think it's just really trying to understand where you're going to invest your money, and where that's going to generate the most interest, the most leads, the most awareness. I think it's really important to understand what these platforms are doing for your business, and do you have an appetite to invest heavy into lots of different platforms, or is there one or two specifically that are going to generate more interest? We always say solve the problem for search first. And at the end of the day, that can look like search engine optimization and focusing on organic traffic, or it can look like the turning a tap on and paying for advertising and getting to the top of the page, and seeing what type of leads you can generate with some additional budget. And then taking a step into what are the other platforms that are available, and what are my customers doing on them. I think you really have to just, number 2, treat yourself like a customer. If you can't understand the customer journey with your own business, that's a big problem. We need to understand what does it look like for somebody to actually do business with me? Am I making it easy for them? Is it quick for them to convert and buy something from us? Or are there roadblocks? Are there barriers? Am I making it too long? Am I asking too many questions? Because if you look at, people's attention span, really they don't have the time to navigate through a website to determine what am I going to buy, how am I going to buy it, what does this look like. What they're looking for is a landing page to say, okay, here's the product. They're going to open up a couple other businesses, compare products, and then they're going to determine who they're going to do business with. And it's all going to be whether or not they can do business with you easy and they feel comfortable, and you can build a bit of a relationship with the content that you're showing them. But we have to make it easy, and I think you have to really just understand how does it look to be a customer working with your business. I think the other side of it is just, again, tracking goals and understanding what your goals are as a business owner. If you can't define internally, what am I trying to get with this budget? Then, how do you achieve those goals? And those are services that any agency should be able to offer very quickly to help you build and establish some goals and give you an idea of what you're getting into. So I think those are just really important things, just right out of the gate before you spend any money, just establishing what does this actually look like, and how am I going to succeed as a business, and so you don't just waste the money.
So the other thing, being that you do have a bunch of customers, why don't you put it into a kind of a framework for us? Tell a story about where your customer, where they were, their journey, and what kind of outcomes they took place with. That kind of illustrates the topic that we've been talking about here.
Yeah, I think the story we like to tell is about Calgary Sports Entertainment. We've been really fortunate to work with all 4 major sports teams in the city, including the Flames, Roughnecks, Hitmen, Stampeders, and now the Wranglers coming to town will make a 5th team. For about 6 years, we've worked with them. With their marketing before us, they were working with a major media outlet who was handling a lot of their digital campaigns. And they really just weren't getting any clarity on what they were selling. They're running ads, and this is really typical. The report they get back says, how many impressions did you get? How many clicks did you get? And really, it's just about traffic and people coming to the site. With us, we were able to make some adjustments to their campaign, place some proper tracking in their shopping cart to identify what ads are driving traffic, but then when that traffic turns to a sale, we were able to relate it back to what ad was in market. And you're talking about having 3 or 4 teams advertising all at the same time, multiple messages in market, advertising lots of different games. And for us, it's about can we get to that point of sale? Can we show them what ad, what team, what game generated the interest? When the Flames are advertising, hey, we're playing the Coyotes, that might not generate a lot of ticket sales, but people are going to look at what games are coming up next. And if we can say, hey, the Avalanche are coming to town also, people are going to take note, and you're going to be able to relate that back to them. But also we're able to show abandoned shopping carts. And when you have people showing interest and placing tickets, especially as it relates to the Stampeders, a lot of people don't know how much it costs to go to a football game. They're new fans, so they're checking it out. And for us to be able to say, well, you've got X amount of revenue coming into the business that's not being captured, that we need to come up with a tactic to bring it back. And then we build a remarketing campaign that says, hey, you've put some tickets in a shopping cart. Maybe you want to come back, generate some awareness. And we can also show what percentage of revenue came back into the business by inviting those people back. Really just gave some clarity to their organization. And it's really what earned the business for us. And at the end of the day, like I said, having that client on board for 6 years, I think speaks volumes to the work that we do, but also it's an amazing relationship and a lot of really good back and forth. And they challenge us all the time to do better. And we're happy to come to bat and come to the table because we want them to succeed. And just like every client, we always say, if we're not working for you, you're not working with us. And I think it's just those relationships are what really important. And I would say we're really happy to hang our hat on that relationship. And it's one of 75 great clients that we have in the business right now.
That's fantastic. That's it goes a little deeper than how many likes did you get on that post? Right?
Big time. Yeah. And engagement is great, but if engagement doesn't turn into ticket sales, then there's an issue. And
well, like I've always said, when you're going to the bank or you're going to your management team and you're talking about tangible results, unless you go through the process and the system that you outlined, no banker or executive team are going to authorize budget based on likes, comments, and shares.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Dave, I've gotten to know you a little bit. You're an interesting guy. I quite like you, and we can go on and on and on. I think we've established that. Don't even get me started on fishing. But anyways, so tell me a little bit about Dave. Who is Dave? What drives you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Why did you start this business?
Yeah, well, I'm a family guy. I recently got married. I'm stepdad to 2 wonderful boys, 7 and 5 years old, and we have a 6-month-old baby girl. You know, and I'm really, really fortunate to own a business and be able to pick my kids up from school and have dinner and take them to soccer, or, you know, start guitar lessons or whatever it is, and play hockey myself in the evenings. It's you know, work-life balance is something that's not only important to me, but something that we do our best to provide our staff at the same time. In our industry, the work is really transparent. We can tell whether or not it's getting done. We can tell if somebody needs support or help, and we can offer that to them. So, you know, if they need a day off, or if they need, you know, to take an afternoon to do something with their family, it's really important that we can offer that. John and I, my business partner John, come from a corporate background. You know, we worked for Sun Media for quite a while. John was the director of online operations there for about 6 years. It built a really solid team, and also really restructured the digital side of that business and worked through the merger to Post Media. And as a sales rep there, I was kind of beating my head up against the drum because there was really no way for me to prove results to my clients. And so, you know, I took a step to go to another agency. I left the corporate business to go to the agency side. And I realized really quickly that agencies were no different. They were offering sort of the same solutions and not being able to track anything. And I went to all my clients and I said, "Hey, I'm leaving." Shook their hand. "Thanks for your business. I'm going over to this agency. I'll be back." And then I went to the agency and I said, "Hey, I'm back. You know, let's do some work." And then 3 months in, I had left because it was no different and I was no happier. And I just knew at that moment, my reputation was kind of on the line. And it was like, I can go to another agency, or I can go to TV or radio, or stay in the industry. And then I got to go back to my clients and say, "Hey, I'm somewhere else." And it just, to me, that wasn't okay. I wasn't okay with doing that. So I kind of felt like if I took the step to start my own business and do it alone, and you know, John was ready and willing to go and start the business with me because he felt a lot of the same challenges. We felt like we could go back to those clients and elevate our relationships and our reputation, and take a chance on ourselves. And we had some clients that really gave us a shot right out of the gate, and we were able to prove ourselves and build the agency. You know, quite honestly, it's not easy to build an agency. It took a couple of years. I worked in a restaurant full time just to pay the bills, and and we left every cent we made in the business to help it grow. And eventually, we just got to a point where, you know, we were able to take that first paycheck and really accelerate our time spent in the business and the growth of the business, and continue to just find great clients along the way. And really, to us, like I said, it's all relationships that have gotten us to this point. And I say it just all comes back to, you know, having great relationships and a long list of great clients, and some freedom in life to not only run a business, but spend time with family.
Yeah, that's a great story. You bootstrapped it. You believed in yourself. You didn't sacrifice your integrity and your ethics, and you know, importantly, your reputation. You know, we know it takes years to build up a reputation, and it only takes one bad decision, one bad incident to destroy your reputation. So again, kudos to you. The true path of an entrepreneur. That's very cool. So,
Thank you.
so when you talk about you started your company's called Infront Marketing, why don't you give a little bit of a plug about, you know, who Infront Marketing is, who do you serve, and what kind of services do you offer?
For sure. Yeah. So Infront Marketing was established in 2015. So you know, 7.5 years ago, which is crazy to think about. But we are a full service advertising agency. We help businesses of all different size, small to medium businesses, tech startups, to large enterprise clients. You know, we have a client who's going to spend $1 million on Facebook over the next 4 months, type of thing. So, you know, we can work with all different types of budgets and clients of all size. So, you know, our barriers to entry are, you know, it's $1,000 a month to start. Typically is where we go. And then it's, you know, sky's the limit. We can work with budgets of any size. We do offer some content creation. We have a videographer in-house. We do some blog writing. We do website design. We do search engine optimization. and then full service on the paid side. So paid advertising through Google, through social media, through display banners, through content, through video. And at times we've been tasked to buy TV ads, radio ads, billboard ads, and print. So we've got some great relationships on that side of the business as well. And really it's just about trying to make sure that our client understands the landscape, what's available to them, and again, how to budget appropriately, and whether or not what they did made sense for the business and brought in any revenue. So,
well, Dave, listen, that's all the time we have for today. So thank you very much for contributing on today's episode of Top Dog Tips. Tell me, how can our viewers get a hold of you? How can they contact you?
So obviously my phone's always on. It's always right here beside me. The phone number is 403-891-9295. Infrontmarketing.ca is our website. We're generally pretty easy to get a hold of.
You know, as a marketing agency, that doesn't surprise me. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Top Dog Tips, No BS Expert Advice. Today's guest was Dave Taylor from Infront Marketing. If you like the episode, please like, comment, share. If you don't, keep it to yourself, and be sure to subscribe to get never miss an episode of Top Dog Tips. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Greg.